BBN Jack Frost. What's up, party people? Alright, so yeah. So they had closing arguments today. For everybody that don't exactly know what closing arguments is, that's when both of the prosecution had basically has already made their case or whatever the case is, and the defense has already called whoever the heck that they're gonna call in order to try to get their client off or whatever the case might be. So this is closing arguments that's happening. It's already happened, and they're gonna actually be how do you say that, by Monday or some shit like. There's no court on Monday. There's no court on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the judge is gonna go over the jury with the law and everything else, and then they're gonna send them to go deliberate. One thing that I want to say so everybody could be clear what's gonna be coming up on this channel. I don't got a date, Lando, but one of these days, just so everybody could be clear what's coming up on these channels. It was a holiday on Monday, that's a fact, and the holiday also was going to carry over to Tuesday for one person, so we have to hold entire court, one of the people in the jury. So I just want to be clear about something real quick. After the how do you say, verdict, there's going to be a new series that's going to be popping up on this channel, and it's basically going to be around the Treyway case and the notes that I took while I was in court, and also how some of the notes that I took in court reflects on previous videos that I've made on the subject. Hopefully I'll be able to get some people that's involved in not involved, that's not a good way to put it. I was thinking about the how do you say, a couple of attorneys to talk to me about what was going on in the case and why this happened and why that happened, so we can have a little bit more clarity. Hopefully that's a possibility. I've already been speaking to one of the attorneys that might possibly be somebody that can help us with the law, so we can know why certain things happened and why certain things didn't happen. Appreciate you, Ty Boogie, with the donation, keeping the $2 drive alive. That's how we do it in here. Anyway, so what we're going to be going over tonight, we're going to be going over the closing arguments of the prosecution and the closing arguments of the defense teams. And before we go any further, there's a couple of things I want to say real quick. I'm going to say, if you ask me, everybody shined in closing arguments. Everybody, like, if you're really paying attention to what the defense was trying to say for Mac, they basically, their closing arguments was nail on the head, and really nail on the head. And if you were trying to pay attention to what the defense was trying to say in the favor of Harv, that was also nail on the head. They basically stated their positions very, very well. They're lawyers, so of course they're articulate. It was just shout out to Daisy May, keeping the $2 drive alive. Appreciate you, baby girl. But also, in addition to that, the prosecution was very, very convincing also. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know which way this is going to go, but I'm going to go over my notes that I took while observing the closing arguments today, and you could go to your own conclusion about what you think is a possibility, what might happen or what might not happen. But as always, free the guys. That's always what it is. And we're gonna go over a couple of things real quick. And one thing that I do want to say though, Harv's lawyer, when he began his closing arguments, I thought he was gonna not, and then everything just clicked, and it was just like it was. You also got to understand, there's a lot these particular individuals that's involved with this case. They did a lot of talking over the telephone. They did a lot of texting, so it might not be so easy to help them beat any charges that were put against them. You understand what I'm saying? Because they did a lot of talking over the phone that could be taken one way or the other, or whatever you want to do. Just in full disclosure, I don't. You already know how we do over here. I don't got no hate for anybody. But at the same time, we have to be honest about what's going on and about what we're talking about. Because if we're not going to be honest, then there's no reason to be having any conversations about anything. And just so y'all can be clear, almost this entire book is filled with court notes. So the series that will be coming up after the verdict is read, the series that I will be doing that's coming up after the verdict is read, I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting to you. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So real quick, before. Just so we can be clear on this. Before, one of the first things that the prosecution said when they came up there was they wanted to point out that Jorge had recorded Shotti scolding 6ix9ine for getting robbed. Jorge recorded Shotti talking about retaliation. Jorge recorded Shotti telling 6ix9ine that Harv had always been intimidating him from the start. Jorge had recorded Shotti telling 6ix9ine that they had to do something. Jorge had recorded Shotti saying that there had to be a retaliation, even to the point of, Harv being killed. Jorge recorded Shotti saying he made Bushwick hot. Jorge recorded Shotti saying that he shot 5 people in one night for mail murder. That's 7 things that Jorge, this is what they started. This is what the prosecution started off talking about. These are 7 things. These are 7 things that Shotti said right off, that the government started off with right off the rip. And it was all things that Shotti said, that he was recorded saying. Just in all fairness, there was no way Shotti could have known he was being recorded by Jorge. Just so we could be clear on that. It's not like Shotti was like, Jorge, where's the mic at? I want to make sure you don't miss a word. He had no idea. Shout out to Aussie Nate for the donation. He says, Jack, thank you for your hard work. Appreciate you, my brother. I'm assuming that's your $2 drive for wherever you at. So, right off the rip, okay, Jorge recorded Shotti saying all of that. And I'm pointing that out for a couple of different reasons, because, everybody forgets anyone snitched except for Tekashi. But Jorge was running around with a wire on him, recording people. So, shout out to that. I don't know what to tell you. But, we're going to blame everything on Tekashi. Coincidentally enough, during this conversation, Tekashi just sat there totally shut. Because, Tekashi's the boss. Hold on. Let's just be clear on this. Tekashi's the boss and tells everybody what to do. That's why when Jorge recorded Shotti scolding 6ix9ine, and when Jorge scolded 6ix9ine for getting robbed by another guy, 6ix9ine's the boss, though. He was in charge of everyone, telling everybody what to do, and he had all of the control and all of the power. Remember? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm just pointing something out. So, the first thing. The government was busy trying to say that there's no way that Hobbs and his counsel can say that this was a fake robbery. The reason why it could not have been a fake robbery is, if it was a fake Shotti did not know he was being taped. This was a private conversation between Shotti and 6ix9ine. And what the government is saying is, there's no way that Shotti could have known he was being taped. So Shotti would not have been saying this for the benefit of the government to trick anyone. This is actually a conversation that Shotti had been having with 6ix9ine. And he was having this conversation with 6ix9ine because 6ix9ine actually got robbed. And that's what the government is saying. That's the government's position. Also, for anybody that want to say anything about anything that I'm telling you what the government's position is. Everything that I'm saying is because I sat in court and I'm telling you what the government's position is because that's what the government was literally saying. Shout out to Ty Boogie for the donation. He said, let's start the $5 drive. Jack deserves it. Facts. You know what? I think Ty Boogie got a point. And start the $5 drive. And I'm gonna explain to you how why they said certain things, and this little quick 7 points that they was making right off the rip. He said you could probably make more money being a paralegal, bro. I doubt it. I might not have the chops to be one of those, but I appreciate you. Oh man. Hold on. This guy's funny. So they point out that one, Shotti scolded 6ix9ine about the robbery. 2, Shotti talked about how they had to get revenge on Harv, which is also gonna lead into something else that they're gonna say later. 3, Shotti talked about Harv had to be killed. 4, Shotti talked about how Harv always had been intimidating 6ix9ine. That's another point that they have been bringing up throughout the case. Whenever they spoke about Harv, one of the things that they used to be bringing up is that Harv was a very intimidating figure. And one of the things that he did was always intimidate 6ix9ine. So that's another reason why they brought that up. So hold on. Then they also recorded Shotti saying that he made Bushwick hot, and Shotti saying that he shot 5 people in one night for mail murder. That's their proof that there is no way in the world that this was fake. There's no way that Shotti would have said that if he would have known that there was a wire present. Basically, admit to shooting 5 people. Now, with all of that being said, it's a long story. I don't want to go into it. Head bunted in the mouth, playing basketball. With all of that being said, Shotti obviously had no choice but to take a deal. They had him on tape saying that he shot 5 people in one night. The last thing he needed for them to do was trying to find that night in Brooklyn where 5 people got shot and one of those people didn't make it. Shotti had no choice but to take that deal. Just so we could be clear on that. He had no choice. They got him on tape saying that he shot 5 people in one night. He had no choice. Just so we could be clear on that. For everybody that's saying, why did Shotti take a deal? What the hell were you going to do when they come and play that tape for you? Really? One night? Y'all found out about that? You get it? Shotti had no choice but to take a deal. That's a fact. Also, they kind of just glossed over that. Also, so just so we could be clear, in court they never really made a really big deal about that. I think they played a tape one time. If they played the tape, it was very hard to hear the tapes in court. But the government never really spoke about that. This is one of the only times that I really heard them really bring that up, and that was a thing. And I'm saying that. For the explicit purpose of pointing out, they wasn't even talking about that in court. They wasn't talking about that in court. They just brought it up. This is the only instance I really seen them bring that up. All right, so they said the government said the robbery has to be real because the recording is real. No way would Shotti say those things if he knew he was being recorded. Yo, can we get those likes up if y'all don't mind? Can we get those likes up? Come on, man. We got like 700 people in here. We could get those likes to like 300, man. Come on. Really? This is how y'all doing me? This is really how y'all doing me? Shout out to D Jones for the donation. Says, this black belt supports you. Hashtag Gracie. Keep up the great work, Frost. We need bag season merch. We do need bag season merch. That's a fact. That's a whole fact. Let's see if we could get to about 600 likes before this video ends. We're going to get to that. It will rain. Hold on. The government says the government is also saying, just to prove that it was a real robbery and that it wasn't fake and it wasn't done to push an album, they said, how can being beaten and robbed help record sales? This is what the government is saying. Okay? So they're saying, look, this robbery is real. It actually happened. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're trying to state your case about something, you start your argument with your strongest points and you end your argument with your strongest points. So they 100% feel like they convinced the jury on this right here, and that's probably why they led with it. I think that they feel like they convinced the jury of this thing right here. And that's why they led with it. Then he reminded the jury, Harv said he doesn't pick and choose when he's a gangster. For everybody that don't know, they have this recording. Shout out to Omar. Hey, Omar, you haven't been here for a while. Appreciate you. Shout out to Omar for the donation. He said, hey, Frost, you the man. You are so respectful and humble. Great work on all your reportings. I appreciate you, my brother. What, so we got the $5 drive now? That's dope. Shout out to Big Boy for the donation. He said, Frost is doing that damn thing. Salute, my guy. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of y'all. Not for nothing. I even appreciate the people that left on the bullshit and then came back. I appreciate y'all too. But hit that like button. Could we get those likes up to like 600-700? That'd be dope. There was a recording that they had earlier, right? It was a recording that was on Harv. Was it a record? No, it wasn't a. I don't remember if it was a recording, but I know that it was also a text message where Harv said in the text message that you can't pick and choose when to be gangster. Or he said he's always gangster. He always wanted to be gangster ever since he was a kid. All I gotta say is this, right? And this is some super real shit that I'm about to tell you. And it's sometimes better. Like, I understand everybody want to be respected to the utmost. People want people to be scared of them. I get it. You understand what I'm saying? But if you, this is just my opinion, if you really somebody that do certain things, you probably shouldn't be out there broadcasting it. Probably shouldn't be broadcasting it. Shout out to Meek for the donation. Appreciate you, my brother. You probably shouldn't be. He's part of the $2 donation, the donation march. We appreciate you. He's part of the $2 drive. You probably shouldn't be broadcasting it. I mean, realistically, you can do whatever you want. But if you really about that life, you probably shouldn't be broadcasting I'm just saying. Anyway, Harv had been saying that he's a gangster. Harv had made comments saying that Shotti picks and chooses, when he wants to be gangster or when he wants to be tough or whatever the case was. And Harv's position is you can't pick and choose. You gotta be like that all day or not at all. And so they have certain excerpts where Harv had said that either through a telephone conversation or through text. I can't remember perfectly, but that was something that Harv had said, and more than once. And more than once. I'm going to say that again. And more than once. You used the N-word, Berry. That's why that didn't go through. Because you used the N-word. Not because we didn't like what you said. Shout out to Real Big Music. He's part of the $2 drive. He says Shotti always looked like a snake in the grass. I have no idea. I'm not saying that he did. Okay, so that's your position, and you got a right to have that position. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing. The government showed pics and texts showing that Nuke operated as a member of 9 Trey. Shout out to Patchy for the donation. Appreciate you. Now, this is the problem that I have, right? No. I'm just going to talk about what these guys is doing. But no. I'm going to say this. This is the problem that I have. I personally think, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody. But this is just Monday morning quarterbacking. This is all hindsight shit. All right? In hindsight, we can figure out how to do anything in hindsight. So this is all hindsight shit. This is not me criticizing these guys' work. 100%, I am not a lawyer. I will not ever be able to lawyer as well as these guys can lawyer. They probably have forgot more about lawyering than I will ever remember, than I ever knew, period. All right? So we could be clear on that. I'm not disrespecting them in no way. But the government was trying to say that these guys are gangsters because they are in videos throwing up like the 9 Trey or gang signs or whatever, right? I think that it would have been dope if their lawyers I think it would have been dope if their lawyers would have just got photos of random people being with celebrities in general throwing up signs, proving that sometimes people just be in pictures throwing up signs, and they're not throwing up signs because they're part of the gang. They're just throwing up signs because they're in pictures, and sometimes people throw up gang signs when they take pictures. You know? Sometimes people do that. Shout out to Mr. Dap. He's part of the $5 drive. He said, I'm lurking in the chat, in the trenches tonight, so don't get caught slipping and get hit with your bags to blood clot. Big up Frost and all the BBN supporters. Appreciate you, my brother. Shout out to Tito's World. He's part of the $5 drive. He said, great work. I tell all my people to come to your channel for the truth. You are the best reporter journalist on this case. Much love, big homie Frost. Appreciate you. Shout out to Omar Green. He's part of the $2 drive. Let's go. Alright, so I just think that would have been dope. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta be able to go find some pictures of some presidents throwing up their freaking skull and bones hand signals. You understand what I'm saying? We don't use the N-word there. Two guns, too young. 2 young boys. Kick that guy immediately. We don't play them games. I don't know who you kick them immediately. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like that would have been. I thought they probably missed out on that. I think that could have been a. I think that could have been something. I think they missed out on that. Just just my opinion. Just my opinion. I think they missed out on that. Yeah, we always kicking someone out. That's a fact. Oh, Marion. What? Don't kick that person. Don't kick that person. That's just funny as shit, though. The Cash App is right there on the screen. Somebody put my Cash App in the chat. So I think that would have been something that they could have did. That, you know what I'm saying, just to show sometimes people are in pictures and they throw up signs, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're part of a gang. Shout out to Todd Boogie for the $5 drive. He said, Jack, you think 6ix9ine could have a career after testifying? He don't even plan on going into witness protection. What do you think? If the jokes are funny, you probably won't get kicked. That's a fact. So the government shows pics showing that Nuke operated as a member of Treyway, and basically what they did was they just showed pics of Nuke in pictures throwing up gang signs. But why didn't you get Miley Cyrus? She was in some pictures with some people throwing up gang signs. You trying to say Miley Cyrus is part of a gang? Why don't you go get, I'm pretty sure you got some President Bush pictures, the second Bush, with him throwing up gang signs. I'm pretty sure that happens. I missed one of the $5 drive, people. Shout out to Home Team Network Live, part of the $5 drive. He said, Frost, thanks for your hard work and integrity during this case. He says Casey, but he means case. Inspired me to launch my own channel, and we'll always work with you, not against you, my word. I appreciate you. I got a lot of people that work against me. I don't even know why. I seriously don't know why. But, whatever. So I think that would have been helping. Back to what I'm talking about with the case, I think that would have been helping. Get some pictures of Miley Cyrus throwing up some gang signs. Get some pictures of freaking George Bush throwing up some gang signs. Go get some pictures of some little kid somewhere in like diapers throwing up gang signs. Like, you really think these guys is out there doing gang business? No, they just throwing up gang signs. Because nowadays when people take pictures, they want to do shit with their hands. That's it. And then look at people in the freaking jury. How many times have you just thrown up gang signs or something that you don't even... How many times have you did this taking a picture? That can be considered a gang sign. Period. Period. That's it. I would have did that. But, I'm not a lawyer or an attorney or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, and believe me, these guys are way better at this than I am. This is just me talking. Alright? This is just me talking. I don't even know what gang sign that was. I hope nobody took a picture of that and sent it to the damn FBI. I'm gonna be in a RICO. What the hell? They're gonna be like, yo, we saw you on your channel throwing up some... I don't even know what that is, but they're gonna say I was throwing it up. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm gonna be finished. I'm gonna get locked away. They gonna put me in the jail where I'm the only one that speaks English. Roger Smith said, did Shotti get knocked out by Hov? I've heard different. I gotta look into that a little bit further if you don't mind. That's another point. There's people that throw up signs, and the signs they throw on it could be attributed to some kind of college team. I mean, there's so much, in my opinion, that could have been done with you just saying that an individual was part of a gang because they're throwing up some kind of hand signal. There's so much that could have been done with that. I mean, but it is what it is. It's over now. All cases have been rested. I don't know what to say. Mike Smith said, I found out I was a blood during 6ix9ine trial. I throw up the same signs in my pics. And that's my point. All you're trying to do is create a, reasonable doubt, right? So, reasonable doubt. That's what we're trying to create. You can't say a guy's part of a gang because he's in a picture with some dudes and they all throwing up signs. People throw up freaking weird-ass signs all the time. What are you talking about? Anyway, whatever. So then they showed a video of Mac from IG bragging about having Rose Range Rover. I don't know what to say about that. They showed the picture of Mac. Everybody probably saw it on Instagram. All I gotta say is this, please, everybody. Stop telling on yourself unless you commit a crime against me. Then I want you to brag about it as much as possible all over social media. Because I want you to make a fucking documentary about it and make it and name the documentary. This really happened. We deserve to be locked up. So I don't want nobody. Stop going on social media to tell everybody about the crimes that you have committed, unless that crime was against me. Stop doing it. So he went on. So I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. They're trying to say. He was bragging about having Rose Range Rover, which he was bragging about having Rose Range Rover. I guess the argument could be made of how he got it. Was it given to him? Was it linked to him? Did somebody allow for him to drive it? Was he bringing it back to roll? I mean, there's a lot of ways that could have went. Anyway, shout out to Mobile T. Patterson, part of the $2 drive. He said they created new case laws with these cases. That's a fact. Then they show texts where Mac confirms he robbed Roe. So once again, you know, this stuff is gonna be pretty hard. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. Anyway, so the telephone calls, then they played telephone calls with CEO and Nuke talking about buying and selling baseball cards. And the government says, do you really think the government says they are really talking about drugs? So at this point, they start playing telephone conversations. And they're busy saying, look, man, you think these guys actually trade baseball cards? Okay, so this is what I have to say. I don't know. Maybe they trade baseball cards. As far as I know, they trade baseball cards. There's no reason for me to believe that they don't trade baseball cards. But this is my point. If you're trying to use a code, right, you should probably use a code that can be associated to something that you do in your life. Like, perfect example. Let's say I was doing something that, or going somewhere that I'm not supposed to be going, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want my wife to know I was going to the strip club. I don't go to strip clubs, so I don't really care about that. So, and let's say don't want my wife I'm going to the strip club, right? It wouldn't make any sense for me to tell her, because you know it's going to be like 11, 12 at night, right? 10 o'clock at night maybe. It don't make any sense for me to be talking to my homeboy for her to overhear it and me say that I'm going to go to the ballet. My wife is going to be like, I don't got a wife. I wish I did. But she'd be like, ballet? Nigga, you cheating. Part of my language. I just use the N-word. But you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So basically, the government's whole point was, you know, these guys is not dealing with baseball cards. I did not miss another donation. Did I? Oh, man, I hope I didn't. No, I didn't. I called that one. Was there one before that one? I called that one. Stop telling me I'm missing shit. Oh, you was right that one time. Keep telling me I'm missing shit if I missed it. No, I called it. You just didn't hear it. So the government's whole point is, how in the heck? How in the heck? These dudes do not deal with baseball cards. Yeah, could we get those likes up, please? We got 1,100 people in here, man. We could get to 600 likes. We can hit that button. So they're like, yo, shout out to the real Tupac fan. He's part of the $2 drive. Appreciate you, my brother. These dudes is like, yo, so the government is basically saying, look at these guys. You know damn well that they don't trade baseball cards. They don't look like they trade baseball cards. They don't look like they trade baseball cards. And the government's like, look, you think these guys trade baseball cards? That's not $20. He's from another country. You see how it's blue? You see how it's blue? It's blue because it's $2. If it was $20, it'd be a different color. He's from a different country. Very funny, Shine Bright. But I do know how the damn thing works. If it was $20, I think that's orange. Somebody donate $20. Watch, it won't be blue. Somebody that was gonna donate some money, donate $20 so everybody can see that it won't be blue. See how $5 is green? Shout out to Les Charles. Appreciate you, my brother. Ain't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. It's not $20 though. I know what it is. It was blue. It was $2. I'm not here to prognosticate what's going to happen in the case as far as guilt or innocence, just so we can be clear on that. Free the guys. Free all the guys. Then they played another call where CEO Chris, you know what? Could we get this up to 500 likes? Could we get this to 500 likes? How you know I had on Jordan 4s? I had on the white, and I had the white ones on. The white ones with the red and shit. Shit that just dropped recently. Could we get this to 500 likes real quick, please? You know how long I had to sit in court? Could we get this to 500 likes? Shout out to NC for the donation. Says salute, part of the $5 drive. Says salute Frost. Let's get 500 likes. Could we get 500 likes? I'm out here working. Y'all can't hit the like button? I'm not sitting in my crib making videos. I'm running around all over New York City. I can't get 500 likes? And one what bastard that I told you it's orange. $20 is orange, just to prove Frost right. Appreciate you, Omar. Appreciate you, Patchy. Okay. $500 likes. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. I told y'all $20 is orange. I called it too, didn't I? Orange. Part of the $20 drive. Big boy, I already know. You be on point. All the admins be on point. I already know. So CEO Chris and Nuke was talking about how Nuke says Nuke won't pull a Shotti move on CEOs. Shotti previously didn't pay CEO for some stuff that Shotti got in consignment. Okay, so this is gonna need a little breakdown. Baby Cakes, you got some pretty eyes over there, Baby Cakes. How you doing? Alright, so this is gonna take a second. Alright, we're gonna have to break this down. This particular thing we gotta have to break down. What happened was, during the case, they were bringing up different instances where Mac, they made a big point to point out the government is on point. They're smart. These guys are intelligent. They've been working on this case for quite some time. And they pointed out and they showed a lot of audio. They played a lot of audio and they showed quite a few text messages that basically spoke about how Mac had owed CEO Chris money at one point or another. Right? So when they brought this up, they wanted you to remember this case, for everybody that don't know, there's a button down there and it looks like a $. You hit that, you can donate. Feliz Cortez just put the Cash App up if you prefer to use Cash App. I got a couple of Cash Apps right here. Shout out to Hilda for the donation. Appreciate you, baby girl. Shout out to Rasan Deloney. I hope fuck it. Rashad. Okay, Ra. Shout out to Ra. I pronounced both of those names wrong, by the way. Shout out to Ra for the donation. Appreciate you, my brother. So what had happened was this. I'm gonna ask y'all to get that up to 700 in a minute. So if y'all want to start hitting those buttons before I put y'all on a hold, when I get to something that's really, really good, and then I don't want to go no further, y'all can just push that shit to 700 right now, so that don't have to happen. But anyway, throughout the whole entire case, what the government had been doing was the government had kept pointing out that there was a point in time where Nuke had owed CEO Chris money. So the government's point was this. The only thing that CEO Chris does, is sell drugs. Shout out to In My Opinion for the donation. He said, hashtag BBN, let's get it. Appreciate you, my brother. So he said, all CEO Chris does is sell drugs. So anybody owing CEO Chris money, it's probably going to be for the drugs that he had given them that they have to now reimburse him for. So when they said CEO Chris, talk about how CEO Chris and Nuke had a conversation where Nuke said he's not going to pull a Shotti move, that's explicit, and he did say that in the conversation. That's explicitly because CEO Chris had gave Shotti some work on an arm on consignment, and Shotti ran off with the shit. So Nuke is basically saying that he's not going to run off on it. So the fact that they have that on a telephone call, that's, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about it. Is you take it how you want. Shout out to Paul for the donation. Appreciate you. You the man, my brother. So then they played another conversation where it says the government says Mac is explaining how... Okay, hold on. Let's stay on the first one. I thought both of these had something to do with each other, but it don't. So hold on. I'll get to that one in a minute. A lot of the government's case that they've been talking about has to entirely do, against Nuke, has to entirely do with the fact that he had a lot of relation with CEO Chris, and they had a business relationship. Now, the fact that they had a business relationship and all CEO Chris does is sell drugs, that means that whatever, and CEO Chris said this on the stand. He said this on the stand. All he does is sell drugs. So the fact that all CEO Chris does is sell drugs, and then the fact that that CEO Chris and Nuke had a business relationship, that means that obviously the government is trying to say that Nuke had been selling drugs. This is where the government is trying to get you to, or get the jury to. Somebody just got kicked. Somebody got to go get a new account. All right, we're not wishing death on anybody. Don't kick J Mill. Just delete the comment and give him a warning. We're not wishing death on anyone, my brother. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. All right, so that's where all of that is from. There was at least 45 minutes to like an hour, maybe a little bit longer of an entire day, maybe a little bit longer of that of an entire day, where they were just trying to pinpoint and expound on the principle or the idea that CEO Chris and Mac Nuke, for everybody that don't know, Nuke and Mac is the same person, that they had and Wavy Baby, they're all the same person, that they had a business relationship. So one of the things that they also want to point out is, yo, this shit is about to cut off. That would have been so upsetting. Let me plug this shit in. So what that also points out is if they had a business relationship, that means that Mac had having been in the business of drugs, because that's the only thing that CEO Chris is in the business of. Shout out to the Remarkable Music for the joining the $2 drive, which is blue, by the way, and says thanks for the hard work, Bay Area in the house. Shout out to the Bay Area. That's a fact. Everybody, if you join the $2 drive or the $5 drive and you put the name of your city in it, I'm gonna give them a shout out. You already know how that'll go. So oh, and also they had more than kick back and forth. Wait, hold on. Don't kick back and forth. Who had 3 different identities back and forth? Who had 3 different identities? Because I don't know who you're talking about. Don't kick him. Don't kick him. Shout out to Vegas. I just want to shout out Vegas. Another point that I want to make is that's a great point. Fizzy Womack says feds want to stop organized crime, so they lock up the shooters and the hustlers and let the drug supplies and finances go. That sounds like a fact. I can't even argue that. It sounds like a fact. It sounds like a whole fact. I am not a lawyer, Shanton Smith. Are you? I don't know. Is that a criticism? If it is, it's okay. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm just talking. I need a second. Hold on. I need a second. I'll be right back. I need a second. Shout out to Nitro Network for the donation. He said LA to New York, love hybrid. That's what it is, my brother. Shout out to Zelix Leo 5 or V for the joining the $5 drive. Appreciate you, my brother. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to need a second, everybody. I need to do something real quick.
Fuck what they talking about. I'm pissed off. I don't give a fuck. Too pissed off. Just on my check, I got ripped off. Empty bank account. Can't pay my bills, dog. I just lost my job. Damn, I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. I'm looking kinda sleepy. I'm about to drift off. I puffed that so I'm about to take off. Not trying to hear you right now. Fuck, I'm kinda ticked off. Don't try to bring me down, cause it's about to jump off. Hey, I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey, I'ma give them what they want. I'ma release the beast. This summer's gonna be hot, cause I'm up in the streets. No surrender, no retreat. I'm pissed off. They try to set me up. I'm too slick, dog. They try to lock me up. I make bail, yo. I'm a free man, so now they pissed off. I'ma tell the truth. I'm fucking pissed off. Middle fingers up. Put 'em up. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Can't pay my rent. My wife is stressed out. The cable service cut. She's fucking pissed off. What a man to do when he's pissed off. Don't fucking push me. I'ma let this thing off. I'm standing on the ledge. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey. I'm pissed off.
Shout out to Super the Boss joining the $2 drive. Said real boots on the ground journalism. Hashtag Canarsie Flossy. Shout out to Canarsie. Shout out to Super the Boss. I have to turn it on to make sure the fucking music is playing. So y'all got a part of me on that one. Somebody donated and retracted it. So whatever, it's cool. Shout out to the Queen Established 1978. Said appreciate you. Shout out to Tennessee. Shout out to Tennessee. Yeah. Oh, she retracted it because she wanted me to call it out. I ain't mad at you. Yes, we have an email. Somebody put my email in the description, please. BronxBroadcastingNetwork@gmail.com. I wish I could remember who that damn song is. Did the shit come up on the screen? Hold on. I want to shout out the damn music. What the fuck? Give me 1 second. Let me shout this music out. Who the fuck sent that to me? I don't even remember. Anyway, the name of the track is Pissed Off. Antonio Chant sent it. I'm going to put a link in the description if anybody want to go sub to his channel. I'm going to put a link in the description if anybody want to go sub to his channel. Shout out to the brother, Antonio Chance. Go a link to the description right there. Copy. Yeah, hit him dead with his bags. We haven't been calling out the bags tonight. For everybody that show up and y'all love when we call out hitting people with their bags, my apologies. Tonight in particular because of what the conversation is about. I'm trying to stay as close to what was happening in court, and I'm not talking about hitting people with their bags as much. So for everybody that like to hear about how we hitting people with their bags, I'm sorry, but we're not going to be going into too much of the bag hitting tonight. Just so we can be clear. Sentencing is going to start on Wednesday. That's when they're going back to court. Well, not sentencing, deliberation. Okay, the government was saying that Mac is explaining this. Then they showed they played another, how do you say, phone call? They played another phone call, right? And in the next phone call that they played, they basically, the government was saying that Mac is explaining how 9 Trey works to CEO Chris. And in that phone call, he said you either play with guns or you deal drugs. You can't do both. So apparently in 9 Trey, they had a thing where you was either a shooter or you was a money maker or you was somebody that protected the money, I guess. I don't know. You went, you was a shooter, you was a robber, whatever the case might be. You was somebody that played with guns, or you was somebody that dealt drugs. You couldn't be both. And that's basically what they're saying that he said on that the government is saying that he said on the phone. Well, that's literally what it's those are kind of like his exact words. I don't know. Anyway, so the government also says, well, there was a phone call, and the government also says on the phone, Mac is trying to link CEO Chris to a buyer for whatever it is that Mac sells. The government says the government saying that Mac is trying to link CEO Chris with a buyer. So there's somebody that allegedly wants something, and Mac is trying to link them up with CEO Chris so CEO Chris can sell it to them. Shout out to Andre Smith joining the $2 drive. Says you should kick the bags down the steps. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. The government says that CEO Chris sells heroin. Actually, CEO Chris said he sells heroin himself on the stand. So that's that. Shout out to Kiss My Ass. Big up to Jack Frost 2 times getting his grind on while other vloggers waiting for fake paperwork. Good job. Good job, well done. Those were shots that I didn't even fire. Oh, man. I already knew he wasn't going into witness protection, and I told y'all that already. What are you talking about? I told y'all that months ago. This is the shit that I'm talking about. Stop everything. Let's stop everything. Let's stop everything. Let's stop everything. Months ago, I told y'all he was not going to witness protection. Months ago. Months ago. I told y'all 6ix9ine had no plans on going into witness protection. What did people do? They criticized me saying that and talk like I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I told y'all he's not going into witness protection months ago. This shit, I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't be getting upset over this. But why in the hell is people reporting stuff now that I done been reported on, and people don't come to, and then y'all telling me about it? I done reported on this shit months before TMZ said anything. I got a link. Look, the man himself said, Jack, you knew. I thought you was joking. No, I'm not joking. I've been told y'all that. I told y'all that months ago. I'm going to tell you what happened. All of these fake channels, I'm not even going to call them fake channels because they're actual channels. They just put out fake news. But all of these channels that been bashing me, some of y'all been paying attention to them. Or y'all been talking to people that pays attention to them. Well, TMZ didn't get the information from me. So they don't need to shout me out. If they would have got it from me, they need to shout me out. But they didn't get it from me. But I said the shit months ago. What the hell? We are not putting our middle finger up to people, big hats. We don't want that energy. We don't want to put that energy out there. We're not putting that energy out there. I appreciate you, though. All right? Join the $5 drive next time you want to give somebody a middle finger. How about that? Yeah, I told y'all that months ago. You fuck, yo. Appreciate you, young Earl, if you shouting me out. Yo, but I've been telling y'all that months ago. Months ago I said this. Remember, that's when everybody started asking me, what do you think 6ix9ine is going to do when he gets out? Hold on. I'm going to say something. Shout out to Zoe G for the donation. She says 6ix9ine new album going to be called Hindsight 2020. Maybe. Okay, hold on. Then we're going to get back to what we're talking about. Mrs. G, you might not know this, but there's like a group of like 6 or 7 YouTube channels that all they do is see what I say and then they say the opposite or whatever I say. Hold on. Show of hands. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? You know who I'm talking about? You don't know who I'm talking about. And if you say any of their names, I'm probably going to put y'all on a timeout. Don't say no names of the people that ain't part of our community. Shout out to JJ for the donation. He says, what's your take on how Hot 97 been reporting on this case? Hot 97 on 6ix9ine case equal fake news. BBN breaking all the news. You the man. I don't even want to criticize Hot 97 for whatever they doing, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Thank you. Nitro even said it. There's at least 5 channels that all they do is hear what I gotta say and say the opposite. I'm talking about them. They've been misleading the public. And they not even ashamed of themselves. Shout out to Floyd for the donation to the Cash App. Appreciate you, my brother. And they not even ashamed of themselves. And now, since they can't say the shit I'm saying is fake, now they just personally attacking me. So, what the fuck am I to do, man? These people, they got mental. I keep telling you these people are sick. I keep telling y'all that. I don't want to talk about that no more. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about every single person. Yeah, a lot of them are doing shit. But it is what it is, man. I don't got time to worry about that, to be honest with you. Now, can we get back to work? Let's get back to work. Copy? I don't know what they're trying to do, man. Yeah, Ack is doing a good job. There's a couple of people doing a good job. But with the exception of Ack, most of those people that's doing a good job, shout out to y'all. No disrespect to y'all, but y'all know where y'all getting y'all information from. And I'm actually pretty okay with it. Not for nothing. So I'm not going to throw no shade at you. I'm okay with it. I don't care. It would be dope to get a shout out here and there, but I'm okay with it. Shout out to Mr. Sex Money. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate Jimmy James. If he's shouting me out when he uses the... I appreciate anybody that shouts me out when you use my information. Because when I use your information, I am going to shout you out. That's a fact. You could look at my past videos. Every time I use somebody else's information, I shout them out. That's a fact. That don't make me no less. Shout out to Star. Shout out to the Star Report, period. Shout out to the Star Report. Stars had my back since day one. Shout out to the Star Report. That's a fact. Star had my back since day one. And he's one of my people I look up to just in general. He used to, you know what I'm saying? Like, used to be in the radio stations in New York City. Shout out to joining the $2 drive. Shout out to Obey Coles TV. Said best journalism. I'll follow a year now. Appreciate you. Up top promo Double K Promotion says, just got off with Jim Jam. I spoke with him and he said he got a lot of respect for you. Told him you was family. That's a fact, yo. I don't, just so we can be clear before I get back to this paperwork, I don't do the hating shit. I don't care for it. It don't make sense to me. If I'm spending time hating on you, how could I be spending time putting food in my mouth? How could I be spending time putting money in my pocket? How could I be spending time doing what I need to be doing if I'm spending my time hating on you? You understand what I'm saying? But other people that don't, they not used to having anything. They don't think that way. You understand what I'm saying? People that's used to having shit, that's how they think. People that's not used to having anything, they're okay never having anything. They just, they just don't want you to have nothing. If they can't have anything, they also don't want you to have anything. You understand what I'm saying? But people that's used to having shit, they're going to be like, fuck trying to stop you from getting something. I got to make sure I'm eating. Look, somebody trolling me right now. You just trolling me right now, right, motherfucker? Talking about I got some fucking nerve. I don't even know who this dude is. Hold on. Yeah, I don't use drugs, so I'm just gonna block you. Hold on. Let me block this guy. They so mad. They are so mad. Black. Somebody must have got blocked, right, out of the chat, and so they mad and they DMing me. Shout out to you, nigga. How them bags taste? Anyway. So there's another phone call. So there's another phone call where CEO tells Mac it's dry right now. See, what happened was, what the government decided to do was, the government decided that they were gonna show a live. Somebody gave me a donation right after I said that shit. Shout out to John. Appreciate you, my brother. Laugh at this shit. So the government says Mac and CEO talking about Mac not pulling the Shotti move. Mac assures CEO he doesn't. Wait, hold on. Government says Mac is dry right now. The government says Mac is telling that CEO Chris is telling Mac he doesn't currently have any drugs to sell. I'm gonna tell you what was happening. After CEO Chris started working with the government, he was just calling people up, just lining them up. I missed one. I really hate missing y'all super chats. Shout out to Ashley Ditma for joining the $2 drive. Said only place I come for facts on the case. Appreciate you, Ashley. And yes, your hair is looking voluminous. Voluminous? Nice. It's looking really nice. I said Ditma. I don't know. You know, y'all from the Bronx, yo. I just say sound shit. Shout out to G's Up, keeping the $2 drive alive. Appreciate you, my brother. Y'all donating, right? So that's why people is just they try to get in my head. They just DM me everything. Motherfuckers is so mad. So basically what the government was trying to do was the government was trying to show that Mac was involved with drug deals. So they're basically trying to say that he's saying that he's dry right then. And they're saying that, well, if you say that you're dry, that's CEO Chris saying that he didn't have drugs at the time that he could give to Mac. Then there was another phone call. These guys just use the phone too much. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Then there was another phone call. I'm not saying them using the phone is saying that they're guilty of anything. What I'm saying is like me myself. I'm not even gonna talk about me because I don't do crime, so it wouldn't even matter. But you'll really shout out to T-Bout Ave. You will really ever hear me get on the phone and argue with anybody on the phone. I'm not arguing with nobody on the phone. If you try to argue with me on the phone, I'm gonna be a bitch. I'm dead serious. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting on the phone with you. I'm not talking shit with you. I'm not getting on the phone with you. I'm not acting like a tough guy. I'm not getting on the phone with you. I'm not doing none of that. I get on the phone with you and you talking crazy, I'm be talking just like a bitch. Oh, morning coffee tomorrow. There's no court. You get on the phone with me and you start talking crazy, I'm gonna talk dead like I'm not arguing with you. I'm gonna be as calm as possible. I'm not arguing. I'm not raising my voice. I'm not doing none of that. Don't ever say anybody's name in my chat that I don't get along with. That's your one warning, 1410. Just so you know. That's your one warning. The next one you getting kicked. Period. So that's how I do. I'm not arguing with you on the phone. You feel me? Because one, let's say I argue with you on the phone and somebody else go and kill you. I don't even want to be a part of that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not arguing with you on the phone. I'm not talking crazy to you on the phone. Why? Because I'm smart. I'm not stupid. I also don't commit crimes. And I'm also not going to be involved in anybody's murder or injury. Just so we could be clear on that. But even more importantly, I'm not getting on the phone and I'm not talking crazy to nobody on the phone. Period. And I damn sure am not stupid enough to record myself talking crazy to somebody on the phone for any reason. You people, and I'm not talking about anybody in this case right now, I'm just talking in generalizations. Some people are always making evidence against them for them to go to jail. That's what they do. They create evidence for the government to be able to aggregate, to pull together, to collect, so they can go to jail. I'm not doing that. So if you ever hear me on a phone call with somebody and they talking crazy and I'm letting them talk crazy, it's because I'm not stupid. They might be stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm not a super tough guy, but go find somebody that said that they put hands on me. Go find somebody that said that they beat me up. Go find somebody that said that they washed me. Go find somebody. You can find people I fought, though. I'm not a super tough guy. I'm just saying. We gotta leave that alone. And I don't take no jokes. So I just hit Mo L with his bags, dead in his face. These dudes is crazy. They go, get on the phone, they talk crazy to people on the phone because everybody got to be a tough guy. I don't even understand that shit. I'm just keeping it a stack. I don't understand having to be a tough guy. I don't know. Maybe my confidence, my self-esteem is somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to try to make other people feel low or make myself feel good or talk to people crazy. Maybe my self-esteem is just somewhere where some of these guys' self-esteem ain't. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so the government says Mac is talking about, they have another phone call, right? Definitely upbringing. Now, I grew up around a lot of people that did a lot of things in the streets, and we didn't talk about it. That's all I can say. I'm leaving that right there. I grew up around a lot of people who did a lot of things in the street. And the last thing we did was tell people about the things that they was doing in the street. Think about it. Think about how stupid somebody got to be to record a telephone message of them trying to disrespect somebody or create a situation that the other person is. Think about how stupid. Think about how smart that is. Just for a minute. just for a minute. Think about how smart that is. Somebody creating evidence against themselves so that if anything happens to this particular person, even if they didn't do it, they'll probably be going to jail. Think about how smart that is. Anyway, the government says Mac and CEO talking about Mac not pulling the Shotti move. Mac assured CEO he doesn't want to be in the red with CEO. Alright, so I'm going to explain to you what this is, what I got from this right here. The government is saying, remember, this is all what the government is saying. This is all how the government, it's self-inflicted, that's a fact. This is all how the government is interpreting the conversation that they're having. The government is saying that Mac is talking to CEO Chris, and Mac is telling CEO Chris he's not going to pull a Shotti move. Now, earlier in the case, they played a telephone message of Mac, of somebody talking to CEO Chris, and them saying that Shotti ran off on the plug twice. Well, I know they said Shotti ran off on the plug. So basically what Mac is saying, that he's not going to run off. CEO Chris has already verified that the only thing that he sells is drugs. So they're busy trying to say that the only thing that Mac could possibly run off on CEO Chris with is drugs. They're saying that there's nothing else that Mac could possibly be running off on CEO Chris with. Because all CEO Chris does is deal drugs. So if you're going to run off on CEO Chris, the government is saying it's because you have to be running off with the drugs and not paying the money. And he's saying that Mac is saying that that's not what he's going to do. Then there's another phone call where CEO Chris is talking to Roe, and CEO Chris says that Mac owes him $26,500. Nope, we do not do. This is the one warning you're gonna get. We don't do no smoke signals at all in this room. That's your one warning. We don't do smoke signals. There's a phone call where CEO Chris is talking to Ro, and he tells Ro that Mac owes him $26,500. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this flat out, and I don't care who says it. I don't care who's mad. I don't care who gets upset. I don't care who gets angry. But this thing that I'm about to say flat out. This thing that I'm about to say, I'm going to say flat out. Real quick, for everybody, think about this. How many things have I been correct about in this particular story, in this particular case? How much have I told y'all about this case for over a year now that I have been on point with? I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I was talking to somebody in the courthouse, right? So they pulled me to the side. They pulled me to the side and they say, yo, how did you know about this one particular thing, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'll tell you what the thing is. And it's somebody that I respect, but I'm not going to tell y'all who it is. Actually, somebody I like. It's pretty cool person. So they say, how did you know Jorge? How did you know Jorge was a confidential informant? I said, oh, I knew Jorge was a confidential informant when their house got raided. Motherfucker sat there and said their house got raided in whatever month it was. I think it was like a September or some shit. And was like, damn, you knew since then? So I don't know if they was bullshitting me or not. But yeah, I knew since then. Think about how much stuff I've been dead on right about this story. Right? How much stuff I've been telling y'all for over a year. I've been saying. Shouting from the highest mountaintops. While we got actual video, where we got actual YouTube content creators that's making shit saying that I'm wrong. Right? So this next thing that I'm going to tell y'all, I'm telling y'all is the truth. And then after that, I'm going to tell y'all something. Tekashi 6ix9ine saved a lot of people from being caught up in this RICO. I'm going to say this again. Tekashi 6ix9ine saved a lot of people from being caught up in this RICO. I'm going to explain real quick, and then I'm going to say something. When Tekashi 6ix9ine went on the Breakfast Club, and he said what he said, and the government said, damn, we got to go pick people up now. Because if we don't, they might kill this dude. And if they kill this dude, then it's going to come out we knew, because we can't talk about none of our evidence that we have if we don't expose, because if we expose the evidence we have, we're also going to expose the fact that these guys just said that they're going to kill him. Or the government believed that they said that they were going to kill him. So because of Tekashi 6ix9ine, the government had to cut their investigation short or at least reveal that there was an investigation that was there, and to a degree how deep the investigation ran, and thus individuals that would have probably got caught up in this case didn't get caught. Big Hats is 100% on point. He made the government show their hand. Now, I'm saying that, and I've been saying that since the beginning. I've been saying that since the beginning. Now, think about all the other shit that I've been saying that I've been on point with. You think that I was on point with all that other shit and this is the one thing that I'm wrong about? Now check this. And I don't even know why the government did this. I have no idea why the government did this. Let's just be clear on this. But the government started talking about Jim Jones and brings up a conversation that Jim Jones had with Melly. I don't even know why they did that. I know why they did that. But I'm saying, my truth is, the thing that I'm saying is I don't know why they did. I know why they did that. But I don't know why they did that. But I know why they did that. So, for whatever reason is, the government, you had to be in the courtroom. Jim Jones came up out of thin air. They didn't even make any sense for them to name Jim Jones' name, except for the fact that they wanted him on those transcripts for whatever the reason might be. It don't even make no sense for them to have named him. Y'all don't understand. You have to be in the courtroom. Shout out to Scotchy for the donation. Appreciate you, my brother. And I think that's another one from John Martinez. Appreciate you, John. And I already seen that. I'm going to reshare that, Sex Money. Shout out to Sean Black for the donation. Appreciate you, my brother. When I tell you during this closing, whatever the hell, during this closing, he was like, I'm gonna tell you how it went, right? So let's say instead of saying Jim Jones' name, I'm gonna say Jurassic Park. So it's like you sitting there having a conversation with somebody, right? And you like, yo, that John Wick shit, that shit is dope, yo. Yo, remember when John Wick did this? And remember when John Wick did that? Yeah, that was dope. Yo, John Wick took the gun and then he did that Will shit. Jurassic Park! And then John Wick did that other thing going. That's how Jim Jones just came out of nowhere and then didn't mean anything in the conversation. They just said his name. And then moved right along and it didn't mean nothing. So, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just throwing that out there. You could do with it whatever the hell you want to do with it. You could do with it whatever you want to do with it. But that's what happened. Like, they just threw his name out there. And then they just moved on. I don't know. I'm laughing at shit. I'm laughing at shit. I personally think by them doing that, they actually lost some steam in what they was doing, because they was like, it was just like real headbangers. And then they did that, and I think they forced themselves to lose a little bit of steam. But it was, you just had to beat it. Watch when y'all see the stream transcripts, man. It just didn't make no sense. I don't know. I'm just telling y'all what happened. I'm just telling you, for no reason whatsoever. They just named Jim J. Just brought Jim Jones up and talked about his telephone call with Melly. I don't even know why they did that. And they did that right at the end. Right? That was the last thing they said. And then they left. Matter of fact, that was the last thing they said. He said a couple of things after that, but look, that was the last thing they said. And he said a couple of things after that, but it didn't mean anything. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And they said, we close. Like, what the fuck did they bring up Jim Jones for? I don't even know why I just showed y'all the paper. I didn't even show it in the right way for anybody to be able to read anything. Then they closed out. So, they want to put his name on record. I believe that too, Aaron. That's a fact. That was just, oh, man. I don't know what to tell you. So now we're going to move on to what Mac's attorney said. But I'm not going no further until we get about 800 likes up there. So y'all got to hit that like button. It's on you. You can do whatever you want to do. But I'm not telling y'all what Mac's attorney says until we get the 800 likes up in this bitch. But you can do what you want to do, though. Oh, man, yeah. You can do what you want to do, though. Whatever you want to do, you can just go do that. Like the dude the Divergent one that I just hit with his freaking bags. Whole lot. Yep, and this dude right here just said somebody's name that I just said hit the like button. I didn't even ask for no money, you rat bastard. That's why you just got hit with your bags. Anybody else want to get hit with their bags? Go get a new account. How about that? Go get a new account. Why you in here? Why you in here if y'all knew you hate me so much? How many likes I said you got to get? I said 800, right? All right, so good. Bag season. Oh, man, you used the N-word. I got to take that down, Kryptonite. Sorry about that. I ain't doing nothing right now. I'm ready to hit y'all with dead in the face with your bags. Anybody else want their bags? Anybody else want their bags? I'm looking. I'm ready. Hit you dead in the face with your bags. Get out of here. We throwing people out the crib, freaking Uncle Phil style. You better believe it. Is that at 800 yet? That ain't at 800. I ain't gonna give y'all this. Woo! This is some good closing arguments. I guess y'all don't want these closing arguments. No, it is what it is. I stay here hitting people with their bags. You know, I don't care. Because I kick people. You get hit in the face with your bags in this room when you come in here talking crazy. Ask me another stupid ass question. Somebody said, who had the best lawyer, in my opinion? I think that it's obvious that all of the lawyers in this case are good. But sometimes when you have a situation where the government is already so far ahead of you with the information that they aggregated and the telephone conversations that they could put out there and the text messages that they could put out there, whether you guilty or not, it's hard to fight. I don't know what eviction notice means, but I'm going to hit you with your bags. Because I don't know you. So how you shouldn't even be telling me jokes that could possibly be against me. How about that? You only got 765. I'm trying to tell you. You mean to tell me we got like 400 people in here that they just hate me so much. They hate this channel so much. They just in here just to be in here. They like, we ain't hitting that like button. We don't care. Because I'm just fine. I lost likes. I'm just fine, just so y'all can be clear on this. I'm just fine not even telling y'all the rest of this. And waiting until I drop my series and then y'all hear it. I'm just fine with that. Look at all the paper. Like, I'm just fine with that. Just so y'all can just see this order. I'm fine with that. So if y'all don't want to go up to 800, I'm cool. We don't got to go up to 800. We at 800. Let's go. We about to get the next one is gonna be 900. So I mean, y'all might want to start hitting that button now. Okay, let's get there. Alright, so Mac's attorney is there to go to do their closing argument. Everything that I've said previously before this is all the that was all the government. So this is Mac's attorney. 14. So this is Mac's attorney, right? So Mac's attorney comes out. Before all these attorneys come out, let me just explain something to you. They just don't give the evidence. They come out and they give like a little speech, or they have like a conversation, and they try to explain to you so they can get you in the right state of mind before they start talking about whatever they're going to talk about. You understand what I'm saying? This is just good lawyering. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to just come out and say facts, 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 facts. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to come out and prime the engine. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta prime the engine. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta. I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna say that. But you get what I'm saying. What up, Ike Martinez? I haven't seen you in a while, my brother. So after Mac's attorney comes out, says whatever he says, and then he shows a picture of CEO Chris, calls and explains how he is a liar. Now, this is the thing about CEO Chris. You cannot say that, you can't tell me that okay, so basically what CEO Chris does all the time is lie. Right? That's basically what he does, because he works for the cops or the government, and he has to actually lie to people a good deal of the time in order to get them to say and do things that's going to get them caught up. So realistically speaking, CEO Chris lies a lot. And if you lie a lot, there's a good chance that you're going to get good at it. just so we can be clear. So Mac's attorney comes out and on his closing statements, and one of the things first thing he does, he shows a picture of CEO Chris and he explains how he's a liar. And then he says there's no evidence that Mac ever in any of the street lineups with Nontre. See, this is another thing right? This is another thing. Mac wasn't in any of the lineups. Mac wasn't in Mel Murder's lineup. Mac was not in Roe Murder's lineup. Mac wasn't in any lineup. You know, they have the street lineup, they have the prison lineup. The two street lineups was Roe Murder and it was Mel Murder. Mac was in neither one of those lineups. So Mac's attorney's position is, how can Mac be part of 9 Trey if he's not a part of any of the lineups? Then they say, saying the conversation doesn't support... Wait. Having a conversation doesn't make you a part of an agreement. So basically another point that they wanted to make was, yes, Mac and was having conversations with somebody about whatever they was talking about, but just because they was having a conversation about said thing doesn't mean that they were making an agreement on said thing, which is a fact. How many times have you had conversations with people about shit, but you wasn't... I'm not loaning you no money, nigga. I know you need money. Part of my language. I ain't mean to say the N-word. I know you need money, but I ain't loaning you no money. I know you need money. But me, I'm not loaning you nothing. See, we just had a conversation about money. But that doesn't mean that I agreed to give you anything. So that's basically what they were trying to say in the beginning. Then he says, the judge will tell you about a murder. But where's the murder in this case? I didn't even know anybody got killed in this case, so I don't know what to say about that. Like, I was in court a whole bunch. I mean, I was late a couple of days. But I don't remember anybody ever talking about a murder, so I don't know what the hell that's about. Is there a murder? Anyway, so then he says, how can an attempted murderer against Mac be used against him? That's what he said. I'm not sure where that goes. Shout out to Onyx for the donate, joining the $2 drive. Then he points out 6ix9ine said Mac wanted to set up 6ix9ine. Then he points out CEO Chris said Mac wanted to set up CEO Chris. So remember when Roe said that the reason why Mac robbed him was because Mac wanted Roe to set up Shotti or 6ix9ine? That's what 6ix9ine said. Then CEO Chris said the reason why Mac robbed Roe was because he wanted Roe to set up CEO Chris. So those are two contradictory conversations. Both of them can't be true. If both of them can't be true, how can you believe any of them? Shout out to MC Lyrics for the joining the $5 drive. Said, what you sipping on? You lit tonight. Appreciate your work. Long time follower. Oh, and we do need you to cover Troy Ave. Peace. I ain't sipping on nothing, man. Shout out to Tammy Baker joining the $2 drive. We not doing that. What are you talking about, people being gay or not? Why do you care if Aaron Rodgers is gay? I don't think he's gay, but why would you care? Anyway, so both of those things can't be true. So Mac's lawyer was pointing out, why are they both saying these things? Another staple that Mac's lawyer specifically, and both lawyers were saying, and they actually, in my opinion, made some pretty good points throughout the case, is that these individuals were working for the government in order to get 5K1 deals. And since they were working for the government in order to get 5K1 deals, some of their testimony was probably embellished or some of their, that means exaggerated, or exaggerated, and some of their testimony has been flat out lies, because they're saying what the government wants to hear in order for them to be able to get their 5K1 deals, because they don't want to go to jail for 15 years. They rather get time served. They don't want to go to jail for 47 years. They rather get time served. So that's basically what both of the attorneys were saying. And in this particular part, this is what Mac's attorney, this is where I think Mac's attorney was trying to go with it. What you gonna do? Donate $1 and drop a link? That's not gonna work. So what Mac's attorney was trying to point out is that CEO Chris and 6ix9ine they're both trying to get 5K1 deals. So they both told contradictory stories about the same event. So if you can't tell which one is lying, you can't believe the story just in general. Just, you can't believe either one of their stories if you can't tell. You understand what I'm saying? And that actually is a pretty good point. This is a court of law. This isn't us talking about some shit in our fucking living room. This is a court of law. This is people's lives in jeopardy. So you can't really take benefit of the doubt. That's a fact. You can't really take either which one of those arguments into consideration, either which one of those stories into consideration, because there's no way in the world that Mac, there's no way in the world. Roe told both of them two different stories about two different things. So somebody's lying. Either Roe's lying, 6ix9ine is lying, or CEO Chris is lying. And if any of them is lying, then you can't believe the story. I think that's basically where Mac's attorney was trying to go with that, and I agree with them, by the way. Then he says, does anything corroborate that Roe was robbed other than Roe saying it? Like, is there anything else that corroborates that Roe lied? Well, Scheme Team is saying salute to the chat. Salute to, we appreciate you dropping through, my brother. I'd be scared to shout out channels, because they'll come in here and I'll be like, what's up? Shout out those guys. And then, not you. I'm not saying you, Scheme. I don't know you. But then they go back to their channel and then they be like, I'm all type of different bitch ass niggas. So I really don't be I really don't be wanting to shout out channels. I really don't be wanting to do that. I'm not saying that, he's doing that. I'm just saying that that's what I be on. Like, sometimes I see a channel here and I'd be like, I might be like, because I don't got a beef with nobody. So I might be like, shout out to those guys. And then they're gonna go back to their channel. I'm all type of different bitch ass niggas. So I'd be like, oh man, yo. I'm just explaining my position. When you get busted for dumb internet crimes, come defend you. Gotta go get a real lawyer. If the source of the evidence is someone that's not... Oh, they made another point. Alright, that's what's up, Scheme. That's a fact. The Mac's lawyer made another great point. How are all of these people coming in here? How are all of these people coming in here and testifying to shit Roe is saying? Why isn't Roe testifying? Mac's attorney brought that up. I thought that was a great point. Thought that was a great point. Like I told you, I think these guys was doing... I do not think these guys was doing bad. I thought that the closing statements in general from both sides, from both defense teams, raised good points. I'm sorry about this, y'all. I thought both sides raised good points. I thought they both raised good points, and that's a great point. You bringing in people to testify what Roe said. Roe's in jail. Y'all have access to Roe. Why isn't Roe coming to court testifying on this shit himself? I don't know what Roe is at currently. I don't know. I don't know what Roe is currently. But that was a good point that Mac's attorney brought up. Also, the two people that came in, and they're saying two separate stories. I'm pretty sure Roe wouldn't cooperate. But the two people that came in are also saying two separate stories. Okay, stop everything. I don't give a fuck what anybody is talking about. The beef that other YouTube channels have, you keep on their channels. Don't bring that over here. So I don't want to hear nothing about no other channels that are beefing. I don't beef. So please don't bring other people's beef over here. If they pop up over here and they're being cordial, then we're going to be cordial with them. Okay? I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. But I don't want that energy around me. And I don't want that energy around you. Appreciate you. Admins, if you see anybody in here trying to talk about some beef that anybody else has with any other channel, I want them to get hit with their bags. Then I want you first scrap them a bungee cord dead on the front of their shirt. So when you hit them with them damn bags and they fly out the room, I want you to unfucking hide them so they come back. And then I want you to hit them with their bags again. We're not doing that. Keep all of them random arguing somewhere else. We're not doing that. Can we get back to what we're talking about? Alright, so then Mac's attorney goes on to talk about the possibility that Mac was trolling when he was making the video about Roe's alleged robbery. And in this world that we live in, that's plausible. I'm giving you one. Okay, so I don't want to see smoke emojis in my room ever. So according to so they're trying to say that there's a good chance that Mac was trolling when he made the Roe alleged robbery video, and in this climate that we currently live in, that's plausible. In the world that we live in right now, that's 100% plausible that trolling was happening. That's plausible. Shout out to the Google Play Store. Appreciate you joining the $5 drive. In this climate that we live in, that's completely plausible that somebody would do some weird shit, right? And then troll people with it. So they're trying to say that there's a good chance that Mac's own people was saying, yo, look, Mac was trolling. And now y'all using Mac's trolling against him like he was breaking laws or whatever the case was, but he was just trolling. Then they go on to say, according to CEO Chris, Mac grabbed the watch off of Roe. Roe says the watch was in the center console. This is another way that whole robbery story don't coincide. First, the robbery happened because he said, I want to rob Tekashi and 6ix9ine, Tekashi and Shotti, and Rose said no, so he robbed them. Then he robbed them because, oh man, I want to rob CEO Chris, and Rose said no, so he robbed them. Then all of a sudden, also the watch was actually in the center console when he got the robbery happened. Now all of a sudden, the watch was actually on his wrist when the robbery happened, and he took it off his wrist. Like, this whole entire story got so many different, like, what can you believe? You got 3 different people telling 3 different stories. Like, what are you to believe? You understand what I'm saying? So I think they successfully created reasonable doubt here, because they showed so many different areas that this story might not really be lining up. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I thought that with this particular story, with this particular aspect of whatever they was talking about, I thought reasonable doubt was raised. I could be wrong though. That's your opinion, whatever you think about it. Shotti was brought up when they was talking about the robbery happening. I don't know. And the attorney brings up that 6ix9ine said Shotti's a liar. Says 6ix9ine said Shotti lied the whole time. They basically say that an informant is not reliable if you hear it from an unreliable source. That makes perfectly good sense to me. How could you believe an informant that's unreliable? So, yeah, that makes pretty good sense to me. What you mean they could tag all your media accounts? What are you talking about, Google Play Store? Explain, please. Then they said the drug evidence against Mac is reliant on CEO Chris's testimony, and that was basically alluding to the fact that, you know, CEO Chris is unreliable. So they're saying that all of the evidence against Mac that has to deal with drug use, all of the evidence against Mac that has to deal with drug use, we don't use the N-word in here, bullets. All of the evidence against Mac that has to deal with drug use, it's reliant on it's dependent on the reliability of CEO Chris. So they're busy trying to say, well, CEO Chris really isn't reliable. The only evidence of Mac ever having a gun is CEO Chris's testimony. Nah, you good? Just, you know, we try not to use the N-word in here. Yeah, why is 6ix9ine not allowed on my podcast? That wouldn't make sense. I don't got no problems with the guy. So basically, one of the things that Mac's attorney wanted everybody to understand is that CEO Chris is not really a reliable individual. You know, he literally lies for a living. That's what he does. And so, how can you believe what he's saying if all he does is lie? I don't have no problem with 6ix9ine. Why would I not allow him? Why wouldn't I want him to come on my platform? That don't make sense. I don't have no problem with him. Okay, so they also said they named the Barclays incident, and Mac didn't have a gun in the Barclays incident. What did I keep telling y'all? The thing that I kept telling y'all is that this case is about guns and drugs. What do we keep hearing about in court? What are they talking about in court? Guns and drugs. What did I keep telling y'all this case was about? Guns and drugs. I've been saying this the whole entire time. What all people wanted to talk about was 6ix9ine. All people wanted to do was talk about 6ix9ine. And I kept saying, but the case is about guns and drugs. And what did people do? Act like I didn't know what I was talking about. Now, I'm not saying 6ix9ine didn't tell on shit. But what I'm saying is that this case is about guns and drugs. Okay, then they talked about how CEO Chris created a false legal document. I'm laughing because this shit is so funny. Then they talking about how CEO Chris created a false legal document. So how can his testimony be trusted? This dude created a false legal document, yo. I don't know what to tell you, man. Oh, man. I don't know what to tell you. Finessing. That's a fact. The lawyer has a great point. Once again, before we go any further, I thought all the lawyers' closing statements was really good. I mean, I think the government's closing statement was good. I thought the defense's closing statements was really good. You can't afford a bag. Yeah, you don't know me if you don't think I can't afford a bag. Are you serious? I literally got people making. I literally had somebody going at me the other day because of all of the different pairs of sneakers that I have that cost over $200. So, and you don't think I could afford a bag? And I'm a bum? I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, CEO moves to a good home. Oh, and then they brought up a point that CEO Chris had moved to a good home with a family that has money and then used them to buy drugs from China. Yo, that's crazy. I'm going to tell you the craziest thing. I don't think Homeboy was selling drugs because he needed money. I think Homeboy was selling drugs because he wanted to be down. Then he got caught up. That's what I think happened. No, yeah, he was an agent. He literally had a good family. They lived on the fucking west side or some shit like that. He literally, his uncle, whoever he lived with was like a doctor or a lawyer. Whoever it was that he lived with, that he moved in with when he was like 15 or 16 or whatever the case was like a doctor or a lawyer. This guy was not in need of money. I didn't say parents rich. I didn't say he was rich. I'm saying he didn't have any need to deal drugs in order to be alive. This guy lived on the east side or the west, wherever the fuck he lived. He lived in a really good neighborhood. The person he lived with was either a doctor or a lawyer. It's not like he was out there making ramen noodles every damn night. And if you can't understand the point I was trying to make, that's because you a douchebag and you just trying to misunderstand me. And since you want to misunderstand me, make another damn comment so we can hit you with your bags and be done with you. Bang. There you go, Nick T. Hold those bags. Hell yeah. Can I get some bags? Can y'all put some bags up there for me? Can I get some bags out here? Yep. I'm kicking everybody that puts up fucking smoke signals. So now that account, you got to go get another account. That account is done. James Kaser said Jack Frost needs to start a channel called Back to the Future Man. This man knows the goods before people involved do. I don't know what you mean by that. Let's get some bags up there. Yo, question. Does anybody go to anybody else's channel and put bags up? I'm not saying to do that, but does anybody do that? Then he says, just so we could be clear, I guess they was trying to make the point that, I think they was trying to make the point that CEO Chris was an agent because he didn't need to sell drugs. These dudes, like a lot of people they caught up in this drug game, it's because they come from a hard life, and you know they need to sell drugs to feed their family or whatever the case might be. Anyway, then they talk about the fake shootout. Like, how can you believe this dude, CEO Chris? He talk about how he do a fake shootout. He's busy out there scamming his freaking people that he do business with every day. You don't think he gonna come to court and scam you? Then he admits to lying to Mac, CEO Chris, and he admits to lying to Shotti, CEO Chris. So they're like, how can you believe this guy? How can you believe anything this guy says? And I think this is all great points. That's just my opinion. Then he says, sets up a robbery, having people pretend they were robbed by police officers. Having people pretend they were police officers. He went to rob somebody, had people pretend they was police officers. Like, what in the hell? And then he called his CEO Chris and Jorge active cooperators, which they are. They were actively helping. Then he said CEO Chris made $3 million. Where the hell is the $3 million? The government didn't seize it. So they just let him make $300 that he can keep while he's busy creating cases against Non-Trey and anybody else he could get involved in. Shout out to Paul Edwards keeping the $2 drive alive. He said, "Hey Frost, hope you're well. Lots of love from Australia." Shout out to Australia. Oh, and then on top of that, when he gets to jail, he buys a $500 bed. Did y'all hear about the $500 bed this dude bought in jail? This dude, CEO Chris, is in jail sleeping on a $500 bed. How much does your mattress cost? Think about that right now. How much does your mattress cost? Because CEO Chris, he's locked up right now. And he's sleeping on a mattress that costs $500. CEO Chris is locked up. And he's currently sleeping on a mattress that costs $500. He's not lying. Also, he's not lying. I'm not talking about how much a bedroom set costs. I'm talking about how much a mattress costs. I'm not talking about the frame. I'm not talking about a nightstand. I'm not talking about a damn bureau. I'm not talking about a freaking dresser with a mirror attached to it. I'm saying the mattress. Okay. For jail? You think everybody in jail was running around with $500 mattresses? And no, you could buy mattresses. How big do you think this bed is? You think he's sleeping on a queen size? You do know this mattress that we're talking about is most likely a twin bed, right? How big you think his freaking room is? You know this mattress that we're talking about is a twin bed, a single, for $500 fucking dollars. No, he really did though. No, this is a fact. He's not fronting. This has been investigated. Okay? Just so y'all can be clear on this. This has been investigated. This is not fronting. He really has a $500 twin bed mattress in his room. Somebody said they got everything at the Cheesecake Factory. In jail! Okay, so let's stop everything for a minute. Anybody here ever been locked up? Anybody here ever been to Rikers? Ever been to any jail at all? Because I'm going to tell you something. When you go to Rikers, you want to know how the damn mattress is? The mattress is about that thick. I am not lying. I am not lying. The mattresses are about that thick. This dude is on a $500. You know what? I'm just gonna leave that alone. Because y'all people was... I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm not even gonna go no further. Yeah, about that thing. It's about that thing. Let's not exaggerate. It's about that thing. I'm just gonna leave that alone though. Shout out to Paul Edwards, keeping a $2 drive alive. He says must have made some peeps happy to get his mattress. I don't know what he bought it for $500. That was just showing. That was Nuke's attorney. All that stuff I just got finished reading. That was just showing that the government gives this guy mad perks, allows him to do whatever he want to do, allows him to keep all of that money that he made drug dealing. All of that money that he made drug dealing, they allowed him to keep it. Did Snow say something worth getting kicked? Yep. Franks. We don't do that. Sorry you got yourself kicked. But you talking about that I haven't been through. If I haven't been to Rikers, how the fuck am I going to know the mattresses is this thick? Explain that to me. We don't say fuck people. We don't put that energy out there. If I've never been to Rikers, how can I know how thick the damn mattresses are? I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyway, so we're going to move to Harv's attorney's closing. But we're going to need to get up to about We might not make it. I don't think y'all gonna be able to hear Harv's attorneys closing. Because we got to get to 1,000 likes. We got to get to 1,000 likes. I don't think we're going to get to 1,000 likes. We might not be able to hear Harv's closing. Harv's attorneys closing. Damn. Anyway, yo, look. I'll be right back. Let me go do something real quick. I'll be right back.
Fuck what they talking about. I'm pissed off. I don't give a fuck. Too pissed off. Just on my check. I got ripped off. Empty bank account. Can't pay my bills, dog. I just lost my job. Damn, I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey, 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 hey. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. I'm looking kinda sleepy. I'm about to drift off. I puffed that so I'm about to take off. Not trying to hear you right now. Fuck, I'm kinda ticked off. Don't try to bring me down, cause it's about to jump off. Hey, I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey, 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 hey. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey, I'ma give them what they want. I'ma release the beast. This summer's gonna be hot, cause I'm up in the streets. No surrender, no retreat. I'm pissed off. They try to set me up. I'm too slick, dog. They try to lock me up. I make bail, yo. I'm a free man, so now they pissed off. I'ma tell the truth. I'm fucking pissed off. Middle fingers up. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey, 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 hey. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Can't pay my rent. My wife is stressed out. The cable service cut. She's fucking pissed off. What a man to do. When he's pissed off. Don't fucking push me. I'ma let this thing off. I'm standing on the ledge. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed off. Hey, 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 hey. I'm pissed off.
Alright, we back. I'm back! What the hell? People always leave. Y'all don't like that song. What I said we had to get to? What number did I say we had to get to? See, when people put Franks up in here, I'm kicking you every single time. And I'm telling you, I'm kicking you because this dude, Snow Billy, made some videos talking negatively about me. So I don't want people putting his icons up. That's it. Oh, we got to get to 1,000? I don't know. People got to hit that button. People got to hit that button. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get to 1,000. Because there's at least 500 people in here that never hit the like button. There's at least 500 people in here that never hit the like button. I'm telling you there is. Shout out to Tracy B joining the $2 drive. Said appreciate you from Australia. Appreciate you too, baby girl. That's what the A's for Australia. We got a lot of Australians up in here. That's a fact. A lot of Australians. Please, no shrimp on the Barbie jokes. Oh shit. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that focus. I meant to hit the other button. I meant to let that go through. I tell you what, we get to 950 and I'll say it. We get to 950. That's 3 more. 3 more. We'll go. I take into account like 200 people left after left. What up, Remy Rad? All right, we there. Let's go. I got more likes than viewers. They're gonna come back. They just want to wait till that song is over. I guess I don't know. They didn't like the song. Anyway, but if dude paid me to play that shit tomorrow, I'm playing that shit tomorrow. So that's how that go. Shout out to that. Anyway, so Harv's attorney, it was his goal to do his closing arguments or whatever the case might be. Harv's attorney, first of all, he started off. I'm gonna before we even go any further, I'm gonna explain a couple of things. Harv's attorney, yo, what up, Star? Chilling. Harv's attorney started off talking, and I was like, oh man, this dude, he's about to lose the whole entire audience. This guy's talking about Dr. Martin Luther King. This guy's talking about the freedom fighters. He said I'm on payola. No, I freaking do advertisement. I'm not gonna kick you, Abe. Shout out to you. You ain't been here in a while. You ain't been commenting in a while. Is that funny as shit? No, I'm not even going into it. So, I already said 2 of the closing arguments already. We already went through 2 of them, Maxine. So you're late. So, basically what happened was Harv's attorney came out and he spoke about some stuff. And I was like, oh man, this guy, he's going to lose the whole damn... He's going to lose it all. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's just went all the way in the left field. Like, how could you associate these particular individuals with Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and with the civil rights movement and yada yada and this and that? But that's not what he was actually talking about. What he was actually talking about was the way that the government is not always right. Just because it's the government, that doesn't mean that we have to agree that they're right. The government is not always right. And that's what he was trying to explain. It was more about talking about the government than it was talking really, in my opinion, that's how I gathered it, about his actual clients. He was busy saying, look, it doesn't matter what my clients are or not, who they are. The fact of the matter is that the government isn't right all the time. Everything that government does is not right. Do you remember the civil rights movement? Anyway, then he goes on and he points out a direct examination of the witness answered clearly, right? So when the witnesses was on the stand and they were talking to the prosecution, the answers were clear and concise. But when the witnesses were talking to, when they were getting cross-examined and they was talking to Harv and it was Harv's lawyers and they was talking to Nuke's lawyers, the witnesses, they couldn't recall nothing. I told y'all the other day, they asked CEO Chris something, right? He said, I don't remember that happening. So then they brought him the actual documents, the paperwork proving that he said the thing. He looked at the paperwork, then looked at them and said, I still don't remember that happening. Just so we can be clear on this, I'm going to explain this. I'm going to explain this one more time. They asked CEO Chris a question. CEO Chris said, I don't remember that. So the lawyer said, okay, you don't remember? Not a problem. I'm going to show you the actual transcripts of when, or the paperwork of when you said the thing. They showed it to CEO Chris. CEO Chris took the papers. He looked at it. They asked him the question again. He said, I still don't remember. So I don't understand. Yo, sometimes yo, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I was the only person in court laughing at that shit. Oh man, yo. That was just absolutely too much for me. I was like, what the hell? Like, how can you say you don't remember the thing when the guy showed you the thing and you did it? Anyway. Ah man, I was fucking rolling at that. Anyway, then Hobbs' attorney pointed out that the government rehearsed the testimony with the witnesses that they called. Now, I'm going to explain to you why this is important and why this is the thing. I'm going to explain real quick. The first thing he pointed out was that the witnesses answered the prosecutor's questions clearly and concisely. Right? And then whenever they asked the witnesses anything, they didn't know what the fuck was going on. So, basically, Hobbs' attorney was pointing out that these guys have been coached. So, basically, that points out that these guys have been coached. They've been coached. The reason why they can answer your questions is because y'all sat around with them for 8 hours at a time in a room talking about what y'all was going to say. You get it? So then, and just to show you how real Hobbs' attorney was, if you notice, all of the points that starts with when Hobbs' attorney starts talking says pointed out. Because it was a point that he's not lying. He's literally just pointing shit out that happened. And he's right. Look, all of the pointing out. He's literally just pointing out shit that happened. And he was right. Shout out to Rock joining the $2 drive. He said groups bring conspiracy charges. Distance is good. I'm not stoned, but I don't know what to think about that. Anyway, I think this shit is funny. I can't think this shit is funny. Anyway, so not that these guys are being charged with anything. I think that when people point out obvious shit sometimes, that kills me and it makes me extremely... I think that that's funny when people point out shit that's obvious. Like, the shit's obvious. I don't know what they're relying on, but I'm just saying, when people point out shit that's obvious, I'm like, that's pretty obvious. But, I also think that these are good arguments, because you could only argue what you have access to. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I needed a second. Alright, so then pay attention to what he's pointing out. Alright, because all of these shits go together. So it's like when you're trying to tell a story or whatever, you just don't skip around. You try to give point to point to point to point to point, and then when you get to the end, that's the culmination of everything that you've just led up to. So pay attention to that. So the first thing he did that he pointed out was that, you know, when they were speaking through direct examination, with the actual prosecutors who they've been planning out their testimony with, they've been answering clearly and concisely. But whenever we try to talk to these guys, they don't know nothing. Yo, you don't understand. Like, see, I can't be a juror because I don't think nobody will go to jail. Because if I was on the jury and that shit happened, it'd be hard for me to believe the people that did that. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not talking for nobody else. But if I was on the stand and that happened where the government is talking to the guys and they answer everything, and then the other people come up and they don't know nothing out of nothing, I'm going to be like, what in the hell? I'm just not going to believe. It's going to look like you have an agenda. You understand what I'm saying? But that's just me. Anyway, so then they pointed out the CEO Chris broke government's cooperation agreement by using a cell phone while in jail. For everybody that don't know, when CEO Chris was in jail, he used a cell phone, which breaks his actual government agreement. So the government, when he signed an agreement with the government, he also agreed to not commit any more crimes. Using the cell phone in prison, in jail, is actually breaking one of the crimes. So therefore, he's not supposed to be able to get a 501k, and he's also not supposed to be able to get anything beneficial from the government because he broke a crime. But what did the government do? The government turned their freaking heads and act like it didn't happen just so they could have him testify. So how could you believe the government? How could you believe the government if they're willing to go to such extents and break these laws? Like I said, I thought that he killed it. Like, I thought he did a really good job with his closing arguments. That's just my opinion. You get it? That's just my opinion. Like, not just how can you believe that guy, but the government is knowingly letting this guy on the stand after he broke one of the freaking rules that they had. How many other rules has this guy broke that they just turned a blind eye to? Shampoo said we're gonna lose a case over a cell phone. Nah, fuck that, John. That's a fact. Like, how many other things has this dude did that the government just decided to turn a blind eye to? Then they pointed out that the government knowingly put CEO Chris on the stand after he violated the cooperation agreement, alluding to the fact that you can't... Look what I wrote. Look what I wrote. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not just making this shit up. This is not shit that I'm just making shit up. This is shit that I've been thinking. Look. The government knowingly put CEO Chris on the stand after he violated the cooperation agreement, alluding to the fact that you can't trust CEO Chris or the government. I'm not making this shit up. I was thinking this shit on the fucking spot. Appreciate you, Tiki. Says should have been go directly to jail and don't collect $200. Should have been go directly to jail. We're gonna take your $500 bed back. That's what it should have been. Then he points out that Harv and CEO Chris only had one actual conversation, but yet CEO Chris said in open court he recognized Harv's voice. Okay, so this is something. What y'all might not know, right? What y'all might not know is CEO Chris and Harv only had one conversation ever. CEO Chris and Harv only ever had one conversation. I can't remember nobody's voice I've only had one conversation with. Just a question. Could any of y'all remember anybody's voice that you've only had one conversation with? And not a long conversation, by the way. A very short, condensed conversation. CEO Chris said he recognized Harv's voice on the recording. How? You've only had one conversation with him. Okay. He's only heard Harv talk one time in a very short conversation. How can he recognize his voice? He's only heard Harv talk one time in a very short conversation. How can he recognize his voice? Oh, also, this conversation was like a year and a half ago or some shit. it was a long time ago. He didn't record it, by the way. Somebody else recorded it. So no, he didn't record it and play it back. James Kaiser said he was told to recognize it. Now do you see what I'm saying? This guy's lawyer brought up a lot of good points. Harv's lawyer brought up a lot of good points. Then he points out the primary information about Harv came from Shotti. Right? Most of the information about Harv came from Shotti. But what was the last thing 6ix9ine said when he was on the stand? No, Harv just does not have an unusual voice. What was the last thing 6ix9ine said about said on the stand, period? Shotti is a liar. He points out that the primary information about Harv came from Shotti. But they put 6ix9ine on the stand. Then when 6ix9ine closed out saying Shotti is a liar. So are we supposed to believe everything that 6ix9ine says except for the fact where 6ix9ine emphasized Shotti's a liar and Shotti always is lying? But we supposed to believe every single thing else that 6ix9ine says, okay? But not that part. This lawyer was working overtime on his closing argument. This lawyer was working overtime on his closing argument. We still trying to get to 1,000 likes, y'all. I need 25 more. We still trying to get to 1,000. He also points out CEO Chris controlled a lot of the people with his money. Deja vu. Then he points out CEO Chris said to get the 5K1 letter, he would do whatever he had to do. He literally said that on stand. They said, yo, what would you do to get this 5K1 letter? He said, I'd do whatever I gotta do. Nah, we don't want no cholos up in here. He said that on the stand. The dude said, what would you do to get a 581? He said, I'd do whatever I got to do. That's a fact. Money only control weak-minded people. That's a fact. I mean, I'm probably saying that because money can't control me, so, you know, whatever. But, it might not be a fact. My point being. Then he points out, CEO Chris controlled a lot of people with money. Then he points out, CEO Chris said to get the 5K one letter, he would do whatever he had to do. Then he points out, when the government asked 6ix9ine about Harv, 6ix9ine said that he's quiet and he doesn't talk much. I want to point something out real quick. All of my shit say points. Points out. Everything. Everything say points out. Look. Points out. Points out. Points out. Points out. He was on a fucking roll. He said, he points out that the government asked 6ix9ine about Harv. 6ix9ine said he's quiet and he doesn't talk much. So Harv's lawyer said, so how could he have told his ex he robbed and kidnapped 6ix9ine or that he's a big blood? This guy doesn't talk. This guy doesn't talk. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. I don't really hide shit. Like, let's say I'm fucking with somebody, I just say whatever. I don't care, right? But almost every single relationship I've ever been in with a female, there's just certain shit I don't talk about. It's not even bad shit. It's just certain shit I don't talk about. Now, with me saying that, men and women, everybody out there should know what I'm talking about. There's just sometimes there's just some shit that you just don't talk about. Now, we're talking about a person who don't talk, and this is not the first time. I'm telling you, I know people that know Harv. He don't talk. I know people that know Harv. He don't talk. Like, I'm not saying he never speaks. I'm saying he don't really talk. He don't talk out of turn. There is not a video of Harv telling her that he's a big blood. There's not a video of Harv telling her that he kidnapped 6ix9ine. This is her testimony. There's no audio or video of him saying these things. Not to my knowledge. Maybe I was late in court that day, but I didn't hear it. Then he points out the ex said Harv told her to turn the music off in the car because it was music from a Crip. Right? But Harv's in music videos with Crips. I'll say that again. If my voice is annoying, I'm going to hit you dead with your bags. You don't got to worry about it. Now get up out of here. Can I get some bags, everyone? Can y'all throw some bags up? Because they don't know they can't comment right now. So let's throw some bags up so they can know. He points out, right, that the ex said Harv told her to turn off the music in the car because the music was from a Crip. Every time I see hot dogs, y'all dudes is getting kicked. Your homeboy was talking crazy about me. He make a video talking about he shouldn't have been talking crazy about me. I'll stop kicking y'all and let y'all throw hot dogs up. But until then, I'm kicking you. Frost still a goofy. There you go, Vuitton. Pice. Hit you with your bags. Can we get more bags? No, she's not credible. I don't think she's credible, but it is what it is. Anyway, so Harv's lawyer points out, right, that Harv said she had to turn off the music because it was a Crip music. But Harv's literally in music videos with Crips. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Harv is literally in music videos with Crips. Shout out to the Benini Ranger. He said, "You said bags." That's dope. If when we kick people out, people start joining the $2. The $2. That would be dope. Anyway, so that don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. I'm telling you that don't make sense. But, you know, whatever. Then, Harv's lawyer was just on a roll. Then he points out the guy got cut. And it was a bloody mess. But Harv had no blood on him. As per the ex. Later on, in that same night. You ever cut somebody that been squirting? Said, I can't think critically. Peace. You ever cut somebody and they've been squirting? Or have you ever been cut and blood squirting? I'm going to tell you something. So I put a chainsaw through my leg a couple of years ago by accident. I'm going to show you. This is the wound. A couple of years ago by accident, I put a chainsaw through my leg. That's the wound. Right? When I tell you blood was squirting everywhere, blood was squirting everywhere. So you trying to tell me that that dude had that, and I went to work the next day, and that's a fact. That's a whole fact. I went to work the next day. So you trying to tell me that dude got cut and the cut was brutal. And Harv had no blood on him, and that's what his lawyer pointed out. And yes, I understand that a razor cut doesn't bleed until it gets touched. I'm telling you what his lawyer was pointing out. Shout out to Benini Ranger joining the $2. What do we call that shit? The $2 drive. Says she's a woman scorned. How many woman jurors? I don't know. There was a couple woman jurors. I didn't even count. Nah, but when I put the chainsaw through my leg, that's my word. I went to work the next day. I've already brung people on the show to explain that I absolutely did go to work the next day. Then they point out the government harasses witnesses to get a testimony. I'm pretty sure that we can basically almost all agree that the government does harass witnesses to get a testimony. So there's no reason to go into that. Then they point out Jorge didn't call his handler when 6ix9ine was kidnapped. This lends to the idea the kidnapping was fake. Now, I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to show you how fair I have been in all of these points that they've been bringing up. Jorge's phone was stolen. So he couldn't call anybody. So we're just going to go to the next point. But that goes to show you how strong these points was. That's how strong all of these points dude was making was. That's the first time I got to a point that I'm like, it's not a good one. Shout out to Paul Edwards for the joining the $2 drive. Say haters gonna hate for us. Do your thing, fam. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Let's go through how many points did this dude make before he got to one that I personally said I don't think that's a good point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 points before he got to one. That's like, I don't know about that one. 12 points. Then he points out Jorge, nope, not 12. 13 points. And then he got to one. And then he said, he points out the police got information on kidnapping from 6ix9ine, got arrested, and need crimes to get sentenced lower. Oh, shout out to B Clown for the joining the $2 drive. He puts up bags. He points out the police got information on the kidnapping only after 6ix9ine got arrested and needed crimes to tell to get his sentence lowered. That sounds like something that's plausible. I'm not saying that the crime didn't happen, but that makes sense. Damn, he was just killing it. He was just killing it. In my opinion, he was just killing it. So then he points out Shotti's and 6ix9ine sends pics to TMZ right before Fifi dropped. Because he's busy trying to say that the kidnapping was fake. Then he points out that 6ix9ine posts on Instagram, please, someone steal my chain. All publicity is good publicity. This happened before the actual kidnapping where his chain got stolen. I think they should have inverted this. I think they should have said that first and then talked about the kidnapping. But, you know, whatever. But that's how I think they should have did it, though. But, you know, whatever. This is all Monday morning quarterbacking. These guys are actual lawyers. I sit in front of a freaking monitor and talk to y'all. So I'm pretty sure they're better at what they do than I am at what they do. Just so we could be clear. Then he said, points out 6ix9ine said he had the formula that he sells when he has. Points out that he had the formula, and the formula is that he sells when he has Bloods, gang members, in the backgrounds of his videos. So he started to beef with other gangs. That's another thing that they should have, in my opinion, talked about before they talked about the TMZ thing. Shout out to Tom Robb joining the $2 drive. He said, my man Frost live. I just got off of work. Good timing. Appreciate you. Then they pointed out Harv and Shotti to points out Harv told Shotti to stop moving the way that they was moving. Someone might get killed. Harv tells 6ix9ine that they non-trade. They are in his goons. There's a point later on. I'm going to say this right now. There's a point later on where Harv's attorney points out that almost all of the violence that Harv had actually committed, that they can prove, that we know that Harv committed because it's either on tape or whatever, it's on video evidence, and they have actual evidence that they know for a fact that Harv committed because it was in the protection of 6ix9ine. So by saying Harv points out, by pointing out that Harv told Shotti to stop moving the way that they were moving and someone might get killed, and Harv tells 6ix9ine that they are in his goon, that non-Trey isn't their goons, is actually that's a good point. This is a good point. I think that helps Harv, be honest with you. Says Shotti thought kidnapping was real, but 6 and Harv was in on it. I don't know about that. Like, that's still a little, I don't know, shaky on that. I think a lot of the other, I think he's, in my opinion, he's created reasonable doubt already. But we're going to keep going. Points out 500K was supposedly on Harv's head, but Harv still at the club and nothing happened. There was, allegedly, they put 50K on Harv's head, But Harv's still at the club, I think, even in clubs that they are in. And ain't nobody doing nothing to him. That's them saying the kidnapping was fake. Never was no money put on his head. That was all an act. I don't know. Points out Snow was shot in the head for less. So the point is that allegedly, they got 50K on Harv's head. He's still in the same clubs partying with these guys. And Snow Billy got shot in the head for nothing. The person that shot Snow Billy in the head didn't even get paid for that shit, I think. Anyway, points out someone hit Harv with a 2-box. Points out that Harv never had guns. There's never any proof that Harv actually had a gun. There's people saying Harv had a gun, but there's never no actual proof that Harv had a gun. And points out that somebody hit Harv with a 2x4 and he never pulled the gun. He just took the 2x4 from him and beat him with it. Points out Harv never had a gun or knife in any situation they have been in, which he haven't. There isn't any proof that Harv has ever had a gun or knife. Points out every act of violence Harv is connected to is done in the defense of his client, 6ix9ine. It seems that way. It actually seems that way, with the exception of the fake robbery or the actual kidnapping that they're saying is a fake kidnapping. Points out Harv's job was to protect 6ix9ine, which it was. Points out that Harv split from 6ix9ine. He was still in videos. So how much of cool they really weren't if he was still in videos. Points out when 6ix9ine ran from the alleged kidnappers, no one tried to shoot him or chase him. These are all facts. Point out alleged kidnapping happened with no mask. They kidnapped him and they wanted everybody to see who did it. Points out let eyewitnesses go and didn't try to disguise themselves. Points out let victims go and didn't leave, and then let him leave with his cell phone. Points out Kings County Hospital is a level 1 trauma center. They left that place to go to a level 2 trauma center just to be able to take pictures so they could send them to TMZ. Points out the inconsistent stories 6ix9ine told on the Angie Martinez show. Points out the government structured 6ix9ine's testimony. And then points out no one has said that they saw the slashing with their own eyes. Now remember, we're not supposed to prove anybody to be innocent. They're not supposed to prove anybody to be innocent. They're just trying to create reasonable doubt. Could we get a vote here? I'm gonna finish with the lawyers stuff real quick, right? So hold on. Let me finish. So after the defense speaks, okay. So first how it works is like this. Shout out to Giovanni with the donation, $2 drive. He said, Jack Frost, you've been doing a great job. Much respect. I appreciate you, my brother. Let's finish with what the government gets a rebuttal. So the government says that 6ix9ine would have put his 5K win in jeopardy if he lied about a staged robbery. That's true. Unless the government wanted to believe that there was an actual robbery. Harv's ex testified due to subpoena. She wasn't a cooperating witness. So she was subpoenaed. She wasn't a cooperating witness. That doesn't mean they couldn't scare her. Government says point of doing robbery without masks was to humiliate 6ix9ine. Right on point. I could 100% get behind that. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm saying that sounds about plausible. describes Jorge after kidnapping to explain it wasn't a stage. They described the rest that Jorge was going through after the kidnapping, saying, look, it couldn't have been a kidnapping. Jorge wouldn't have been reacting this way. And then they brought up audio of Shotti screaming at 6ix9ine about how he got robbed in the kidnapping, proving that the kidnapping was a thing that actually happened. Then the government shows gun Shotti brought to 6ix9ine's house after the kidnapping, showing that the kidnapping was real and they believe 6ix9ine needed to be protected. Now, I want to take a vote. Who believes that there's reasonable doubt? Who believes that there is no reasonable doubt? I just want to have a vote. I want to know what you guys think. I'm not doing this whole Jim Jones thing and I'm kicking you. I don't know what yet means. Yep, you could be responding to anything when you're saying yep. Alright, I'm pretty split. I think there's reasonable doubt, but you know, we'll see what happens. I think at the least there's reasonable doubt in a couple of these charges that they might have. Anyway, shout out to FCF Kev joining the $2 drive. He said, keep up the good work, Frost, and reasonable doubt. You believe there's reasonable doubt? I believe there's reasonable doubt. I mean, I'm not saying there's reasonable doubt in every instance. I'm saying I believe that there's enough reasonable doubt that they shouldn't be convicted on every single one of the charges. That's what I'm saying. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yo, morning coffee tomorrow. There should be a morning coffee tomorrow. There's no court tomorrow. We're going to morning coffee. And look, I love y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. We've been in here all night. 2 hours. I don't know how much y'all do appreciate or don't appreciate this particular segment that we did today. I appreciate y'all for being in here and listening to me talk shit. You guys are the best. Oh shoot, I forgot I had this phone number. You guys are the best, and I hopefully see most of y'all in the morning. I want to know if y'all want me to cover the Troy Ave. I don't know if I should cover the Troy Ave. Let me know if y'all want me to cover the Troy Ave. Maybe we cover Troy Ave. I'm not sure. Yeah, I just kick people. I just kick people. I'm not trying to argue with people. You gotta understand, people. You want to know who want to argue with you? People that don't got nothing better to do. People that's not, they're not getting to the bag. They always gonna want to argue. People that's getting to the bag, they not think about arguing with you. They think about, they get into the bag. You feel me? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yo, look, I love y'all. One more thing I want to point out. I've been pretty right about most of this shit. Like, what have I been wrong about? What have I been wrong about? Like, on some real shit. I'm gonna move up. What have I been wrong about? I've been right about almost everything. I've been right about so much that the shit that I've been wrong about, you can't even really get mad at me about. What up, North? North, chilling, my brother. What have I mean? I've been right about almost every fucking thing. Appreciate you, Millennium. Oh, you saw me in court? Shout out to you, yo. Yep, you asked me, am I an agent? You're out of here. We're not doing that. See what I do? Hit him dead with his bags. Shout out to Paul Edwards joining the $2 drive. He said, Night Frost, you on point, bro. Peace, bro. Peace, everybody, yo. That's a fact. Shout out to Shy Murder. 50. Joining the $2 drive. He said, I like Troy Ave, but I'm watching regardless. I guess you say you don't like Troy Ave, but you're watching regardless. I might do the Troy Ave. I haven't decided yet, to be 100% honest with you. I just have not decided yet. I might do it, I might not. I haven't decided. Shout out to Zoe G. Keeping the $2 drive alive. Let your client try to kidnap your other client. You funny as shit, Bryce. I'm just kicking people at this point. I'm not even calling it out. Shout Maxine B, keeping the $2 drive alive. Say great job. Keep reporting. Appreciate you, baby girl. Shout out to Albania with the keeping the $2 drive alive. Good work, Frost. Appreciate you. Whenever it's blue, I call it the $2 drive. Just so y'all could be clear. I look like Oscar the Grouch. Thank yous. Thank yous for giving me the opportunity to hit somebody in the face with their bags. How do I know how long you're gonna live? I don't know. I don't really watch Snapchat too much. Until I start the mumble report. You funny. Yeah, free Nuke. That's a fact. Free Nuke, free Hog. Free everybody, yo. Somebody said I predict more than the Simpsons. I don't even know if I want to report on that. Okay, so Razmataz just made a great point. He said that Troy Ave case got a body on it, so be careful with that if you do. That's one of the main reasons why I don't think I want to report on it, because it do got a body on it. I think I'd do it justice though. Be honest with you, I think I'd do it justice. I don't think that I'd upset anybody. I just who I am, my base element of the person that I am. I'm a pretty respectful individual. I don't think I'm gonna upset anybody or nothing like that. What's a time machine like? You funny. I actually spoke to Troy Ave the other day. And I told him I was thinking about reporting on the case, and I think he actually, that's something that he think would be, you know, he was like, just the facts. He's like, you know, I think there's a thing that people talk about, I have the facts, and it's kind of dope that that also trickled into, you know, I have the facts. I think that's a thing now that, you know, a lot of people understand. So shout out to that. Because I lie to you not. Troy Ave said something. He said the word facts to me about 10 times. Him and Tax deserve the truth. That's a fact. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about it. I'm pretty sure I could be able to get access to Troy Ave. Um, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We don't say F people in here, Sanchez. Um, Snow's behind the Lance profile, probably. But that Lance profile didn't do anything worth getting kicked for, so we're gonna leave him alone. I didn't see Drink Champs yet. I actually met Troy Ave in real life in the courtroom when he came to show Nuke Mac. For everybody that don't know, you know, pays respects to his friend. So I actually had a conversation with dude. It's 5 in the morning, Dave Brown. Oh, yep, you gotta go. Admins, how y'all see somebody named Jorge Rivera Cactus Gang and don't kick him? Is my admins all asleep? You suing me? Why? I mean, see, this is the thing. I try to make sure that whenever I say something that I think personally that I can say, well, this is what I think is happening. I try my best to try to make sure that facts don't get mixed up with anything that I might personally think. Who stole all the Who subs? Oh, Bryce. Breach of trust. You know what, Black? Just because that word dweeb is so stupid, I'm gonna remove it. We ain't calling people names, first of all, because we're not doing that. But dweeb, out of all of the names you could have called somebody, yo, look, I'm gonna let y'all go. I love y'all. I want everybody to enjoy y'all night. Morning coffee in the morning. Um, Wait, I'm gonna need it. Why am I gonna need it, Lance? Is this another death threat? Oh, not me, Bryce. Well, coincidentally enough, almost everything that I've been talking about came to pass, or was things that actually happened. So at this time, I think whenever I say anything, just in all due respect, let a couple of months play off before you just assume that I'm wrong. Who the hell is Jeffrey Frost? Let a couple of months go by before you just assume that I'm wrong. No, I'm not talking about you, Lance. I'm just saying, just in general. I don't know why people are saying Jeffrey Frost, but the next person that do it, I think I don't know what that is. Somebody in here named Jeffrey Frost, and that's what y'all talking about? What's wrong with why is somebody trying to steal my last name? Anybody see somebody coming here with their last name being Frost? Admins, I want y'all to kick them every time. Anybody coming here with Frost in their name, admins, I want y'all to kick them every time. Unless I tell you different. Nope, nobody could come in here with the last name Frost, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a troll. I did videos on Troy Ave back before. Nine times out of 10 it's going to be a troll. I don't want to deal with it. Oh, I made in that video. Dude got shot in his head. He might be invincible. What the fuck? I am not married. Oh, they calling me Jeffrey Frost? Who the fuck is Jeffrey? Alright, we gotta go. Stop doxing people on my channel. That's it. You out of here, Sanchez. If you come to my channel and you start talking about where somebody lives, somebody's phone number, anything like that, I'm immediately kicking you, hitting you dead in the face with your bags. We don't do that. That's a fact. If you support me, if you support this channel, if you support the people in the chat, if Snow wanted to be cool with me, he know my phone number. If Snow wanted to be cool with me, he know my IG. So whoever that is, I'm going to assume that's not Snow. I'm not that hard to get in contact with. I got emails and everything. So whoever that is somebody faking to be him. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong. It might really be him, man. Yeah, they fucking with me. Get out of here. That's why I'm just ending the show. I don't got no time for this. Yep, Flock of Stone. Bags. I just be hitting people with bags. I don't be caring. Though I don't use that freight terminology. We don't use that shit. It's just stupid. I mean, I'm not gonna. Well, his people love that shit. So shout out to y'all for getting y'all own fucking jump off and not biting off of somebody else's. That's a fact. That's a real fact, though. Shout out to Snow and his people for y'all creating something of y'all own that's yours, that nobody can steal, and you not trying to steal nobody else's shit. That's a fact. That's a fact. Carlos Ruiz, what you mean nobody could disagree with me? Get out of here. People disagree with me all the time. You think disagreeing with me is me accepting disrespect? Get the fuck out of here. Why wouldn't I date an Asian girl? Is she a girl? She was born with a vagina and not a penis, right? Is she attractive? Is she funny? Why wouldn't I, like, even if she's not funny, it's like, why wouldn't I, what the hell? I'm not even getting into any of these weird conversations, because 9 times out of 10, you know what, everybody, you see that right there? I am the real Jack Frost. That's my IG. The last female I knew named Rachel, she was doing all the worst shits in the world. I didn't date her, just so we could be clear. I just knew her on IG. Anyway, and I wasn't trying to date her there either, just so we could be clear. Alright, so, yo, look, I love y'all. I want everybody, yeah, she was doing weird shit, yo. I'd be like, yo, stop telling the haters. It's a long story. Anyway, so, yo, look, I love y'all. Everybody enjoy your day, your night. If there's anybody still awake in your house, please go hug them. Tell them how much you love them. Some of us love people that we can't tell them how much we love them. So don't let those moments go by. Somebody's still awake in your household, please go up to them. Let them know how much you love them. Say I love you. Give them a hug. Some of us would love to have a hug from people that we love. Anyway, with that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one.